Still getting set up. You still getting set up? Sorry about that. Surprise! I think stream. All right. We're gonna go back to this one I was working on before. If you were with me last time, you saw some of that. Mm. Okay. Hey, what's up, D-Man? This is the one from my last stream. That's right. I'm picking up right where I left off. Now, I don't know that I'll stay with this page for the entire stream. Some of this stuff's so tiny. I really can't believe just the little bitty details and stuff that Rob's sneaking into this work. You know, I mean, when I'm inking it at this size and I'm having trouble finding pens that are tiny enough to cover some of these details without having them close up and stuff, you know, when this thing prints, all this stuff is not going to be there. But it is there in the pencils. And I'm not one of those guys that's just going to kind of come in and simplify things just to make my life easier. If I'm going to simplify stuff, it's going to be a valid reason for it. And we're almost there for some of this stuff because some of this stuff is so small, it's not going to read right. Like a smudge on the page, so I have to simplify some of it a little bit. So otherwise, man, I mean, come on. Do you see the teeth on his little teeny tiny face? Yeah, that sucker's about a little bigger than the size of a quarter. And then when you shoot that, it's probably going to be about the size of a dime. You're not going to see those teeth marks and stuff. But oh well, we know it's there, and that's part of the fun. You would be trying to zoom in, yeah. Well, I do. My head moves a lot in the process of inking, and inking on a flat surface like this, especially one that's this low to the ground as this TV tray is not fun. But as I said before, I ink in a common room. All my computers in a common room, so I don't really have a setup for a proper drawing table and stuff like that in here. And even if I did, I'm then the difficulty is like, okay, how do I shoot it with the camera that I've got? And I've seen nice lighting and camera setups that will sit up there and are suspended above your drawing table and all that, but they're expensive, and you gotta have room for it. And I just don't have room for it. Uh, okay, and the rest of this here in the middle panel, I think I'm going to redo the hairy guy here and come do this digitally. That's just too small. Too small for the tombos. Mm, let's pull out a nice single panel we can work with here. I'm going to start. Uh, I guess I'm going to start with the backgrounds on this. Now, I do know people that spend a lot of time thinking about their bushes, the way they've inked bushes, because the same rules apply. I should have a thinner line where the line is hit, where the light is hitting, and then the underside of each leaf should be treated with a little thicker line to shadow that in. And I've seen inkers that do that, and seen inkers that do that very well. It seems like when I try to do that, it winds up calling more attention to the bushes than I really want. So I just sort of noodle them in fast. Because there shouldn't be anything outstanding about them. They shouldn't. They shouldn't stand out and call attention to themselves, in my opinion. So with stuff like this, I generally just try and kind of keep it dead, all one line weight. I used to be kind of a Terry Austin influence, and I would try to make this stuff look as neat and clean as possible in all the spots. And I just, like, you know what, man? Nobody's paying attention to these bushes. No one. And meanwhile, while you're trying to sit around making the bushes look perfect, you're blowing deadlines. And most of the time, it's for bushes that are going to get covered over by color, and no one will even be able to see. So now I don't fixate on them so much. Seeing I'm not liking that. I'm going to wind up redoing that in the computer, I can tell already. I just like the brushes that it gives me for stuff like that better. Every time Rob does this, I add in a halo. Yeah, I think it's a cool panel. I tried to get a few that would be cool ones that didn't have any nudity going on. No sexual content. YouTube don't like that. Mm-mm. We're gonna go right through the belts. And no, what the hell? Go ahead and do it like this. I don't really like to stop and start like that. When it's one continuous line, I like to do one continuous line. In the computer, you could do that. But original art, really just sort of more stuff you got to remember to clean up later. Hmm. You see, and now down in some of the foreground, the background doesn't look so weird to me. It's doing what it's supposed to do, which is how it winds up sometimes. That's why I'll save like all my whiteout corrections and stuff till the very end. For one thing, a lot of the processed white and stuff like that doesn't want to hold up very well to having stuff rub up across it and things like this. So, just in terms of being able to make a correction and have it stay and not look worse, um, a lot of times I'll wait till the very end and then do it. Hey, thanks, Mike. I appreciate you saying that. I think a lot of that is, uh, at least for me, the reason why I think the work is coming out the way it is it's, Rob's very, very tolerant of any changes that I want to make. Um, and I think that because of that, that gives me the confidence to really do my best work with him. And I know he trusts me. So if I feel like something needs to be changed, I change it. If I feel like there's something that I can add to it that's going to enhance, I'll add it because I know that Rob's not precious about his pencils. He's not gonna flip out and be like, "Oh, dude, you changed my stuff." So many pencilers in the comics industry that have no idea how to ink, but they're more than happy to tell you how to do it. No problem. They ink their own stuff and it looks bad. But then they're going to tell you how to ink it. Maybe you should just do your thing. I'll do my thing. Because I'll tell you, every time I've tried to take a lot of input from a penciler and try to do it the way they say they want it, and wind up not being happy with it anyway. And I'm not happy with it either because it doesn't look like work that I want to represent what I do, and it doesn't look like work they want to represent what they do either. So really, it's better, you know. I figured out after CrossGen, I did not have any contact whatsoever with Will Rosado when I was inking Silken Ghost on CrossGen. The only people that I had contact with at CrossGen was the art director that was in charge of my book, which was Mark Pennington, and Bart Sears, and uh, his uh, his personal assistant Michelle. Those are the only people I ever talked to at CrossGen. Oh wait, I did talk to Mark Alessi like once, I think. Um, but I found that, gee, if I'm not talking to the penciler, then they're not telling me what they want, and they're not telling me what they expect, and then I'm just sort of left to do it the way I think is best. So that's what I did with Silken Ghosts. I just inked it the way I wanted to see it, and I didn't worry about what he wanted at all. Um, and then the next thing I know, I read an interview, and the guy loves it. He loved it. He loved what I did with his work. It was very, very complimentary. Had nothing but gushing things to say to me and say about my work. In this interview, they was doing. He like pointed out that we'd never worked together before, but he was really, really happy with what I did. And that is the point where I finally reached out to him, and I was like, "That was really nice of you. Really nice of you to go out of your way to say that." Being that we didn't, we'd never worked together before. We weren't friends or anything. He didn't have any obligation to say nice things, but he did, which I suppose means he really liked it. So ever since then, I kind of trust my gut when it comes to this stuff, and uh, I make sure that I'm happy with it. Because if I'm not happy with it, chances increase that the pencil's probably not going to be happy with it either. Who did I ink at CrossGen? I inked Will Rosado over there on a book called Crimson, not Crimson Ghost, Silken Ghost. That's it. Long time ago. It was a spin-off of their Way of the Rat martial arts title. Um, which I was stoked to do that because I was a huge fan of uh, Gene Day and Master Wu, and it had a very sort of master of kung fu kind of vibe to it. Jimmy, anyway, I dug it. What's going on, Jason? Mm. All right. Yet another Zoom meeting. Cool. 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 Yeah, Mike McMahon. Every time I see your name, I always think of the Judge Dredd guy. Like, you're not that guy, are you? You can't be that guy. Your photo looks way too young to be that guy. Because that guy was doing like Judge Dredd books in like the late '70s and stuff. Super duper clean pencils, Rob. I like it. I mean, I knew the guy was good before I started working with him because I like checked out the channel. I was like scoping out his stuff, and I'm like, yeah, pretty solid. Watching Rod Gone videos too. Right on. Yeah, I think Rob does a pretty darn solid work. I mean, for a guy that doesn't have any professional credits, any major professional credits or anything, think I think Rob draws very well. Yeah, he is leveled up tremendously in the last year or so that we've been working together, and I kind of could I could see that. I was like, shut up, Nate. His ears were burning. Okay, Rob, it's good that you're here. What the hell have I got back here? Is this trees or is this smoke? Because it looks like it could be treetops. But it looks like it could be smoke too. I'm really not sure. Giant teeth and gun. Yeah, yeah. Cool. That's how I'll link it. Treetops. Okay. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure. And I thought, if I ink this wrong, it's gonna cheese off the penciler, and he's gonna go bitch the inker and bitch the editor and get me fired. I'll lose my gig, and then I'll have to, I don't know, spiral into a deep depression and go out sucking on the business end of a shotgun. Sorry, my bad. Trigger warning. Don't suck on the business end of shotguns, kids. Better off eating a Tide Pod or something. I really wish I had done more work with Question. To be honest with you guys, I wish I'd. But it was right around the time that I started working with them. They started having problems with paying their people, and I'm like, well, I'd like to work fruit, but at the time, I was not in no situation to do that. So as much as I was enjoying what I was doing, I'm like, well, if the checks aren't going to clear, man, I guess we're finished here. I'm missing all this stuff in the chat. Looking down, inking this. Mm, mm, mm. These spikes I will do digitally. Yes, Tombow pens. That's one reason that this is the Tombow Food no Sake hard tip. And I've seen quite a few guys using that, including Walter Simonson. So, and I first got turned on to these because Dave Finch was using them over on his channel. It had been a long time since I inked with analog tools, and you can spend a lot of time rooting around looking for the right ink that flows the way you want, the right pen, and the right paper, and all this other stuff. Or you can just look and see what the pros are using and figure that out. I've gotten to the point where I can tell most pens just by seeing the tip of it. I can usually figure out what kind of pen it was. That's how I figured out what Scott Williams was using. Like, wait a minute, I've got a pen like that. Sure enough, I do. But I'd already ordered all these Food Nosakis before I discovered which one it was. That's all right. I like my Tombos. And I'm still using pit pens sometimes too. So anybody out there using those, like plenty of pros using that stuff. Learn to like the Tombos. Yeah. Scott Williams is using, I'm pretty sure he's using these. This is a Kuretaka Fudagochi. Let's see if I can get you there. There we go. Get a look at the tip a little bit there. It's kind of the same thing as the Tombow. It's a little, it will give you a sharper line. It does give you a little sharper line. Also, will blob the way a crow quill will. It reminds me a lot more of a crow quill, just because of the ink flow. You get a lot of wet ink with it, which I'm assuming is what Scott was going for. He likes a nice, juicy sort of line. But yeah, it flows real good, but it leaves lots of wet ink laying around. And I'm not a big fan of that. That's just stuff left around for you to smear. In fact, one of the reasons I started using a brush to begin with is because it absorbed into the paper, and it absorbs into the paper a little faster, and you don't have like wet ink linger around so bad. What's up, D-Man? Well, that's far from the only opportunity that I feel that Dale Keelan probably missed. I don't know anything about Dale really, but I know he's a bassist in a band. I know he does the pit, and I don't know. I was really digging the pit, and then he stopped doing it. I'm like, okay. I think with the exception of the spikes, this thing's just about ready. Thanks, man. Okay, we're going to switch to a really teeny tiny pen. What do we got for really teeny tiny pens over here? Yeah, here we go. The Pit Pen folks have supplied me with an extra small. Get on all this detail that nobody could see out there. And then I will bring it up to the camera. Show you guys exactly what I got going on over here. Get this to an angle where you can see the face a little bit. Really teeny tiny details. Ah, this stuff that's so small I can barely see it. It's funny inking things you can't quite see right. Oh, let's see. What else have I got here I can tackle? Can knock out fairly. Hmm, I guess not. I'm not something I could do quickly while I was here. But I've already been on for an hour, uh, almost an hour and a half. So I think I'm going to knock off here for the moment. Next time, I will probably come back with these. You know what? While I'm at it, before I go, what the heck? What is this? Is this leaves flying through the air? I'm guessing that's a gust of wind. Some leaves and stuff flowing. Yeah, yeah, those are just leaves. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna sign off for this, John, and hopefully we'll do this again tomorrow or the next day. That's what I'm thinking. But I got you. Leaves and debris. This emphasizes this next. That's what they read as is leaves. I'm like, okay. So anyway, I appreciate everybody joining me. And like I said, I'll probably be doing this again either tomorrow or the next day. Yeah, I'll come back in for another hour and ink on some of these blue lines. But hey, I got a panel done. Except for the spikes, fill in a couple blacks. Boom, that's done. That's why I like doing these live streams. I get to chit chat with you guys. You guys get to see a demo. And usually in an hour and a half or so, I've got a pretty good amount done. So, anyway, I'm yammering on. Thanks for joining me. I sure appreciate it. And again, I'll catch you next time, okay? All right, thanks. Bye.